Okay.
Hi, everybody. So this is really exciting. We are talking about My Neighbor Totoro. This is a very exciting thing that's going to be happening over the next 6 months called Studio Ghibli Fest. GKIDS is releasing 6 different of the Studio Ghibli classic films. And the first one they're going to do is My Neighbor Totoro. We saw it on yesterday, and my friend Stanford is here to talk about it.
Hi.
You want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah. Hi, Rachel. Hi, everybody. I'm Stanford Clark, and I'm a Utah boy, friends with Rachel here in Salt Lake City, and I'm a big movie fan. I have my own movie blog, which is at stanfordclark.com. I also am a big animation fan, and I write for animationfascination.net, the Animation Fascination team. So it's always a privilege to be here, Rachel. So fun to talk with you about these movies.
Thank you very much. And
thank you.
I was really excited when I saw this. I mean, I was kind of a little bit almost surprised because that there would be such a sort of national interest in these films.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's reassuring. It's good to hear, and it was really fun to see all the different. If you followed the Ghibli Fest Twitter handle last night, see all the people that were just so excited about it. And
yes, that was really fun.
Yeah.
And after you, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, it's just fun to when everybody kind of has a shared experience.
Yes.
At the theater is really fun.
I'm with you. That's one of the many things I love about seeing a movie at a theater. Mm-hmm. And we saw it in different theaters here, in Utah. The theater I saw it at, Rachel, was surprising. It was maybe half full, which
mine was
honestly,
more than half. Mine was more for sure.
I was so pleasantly surprised because more often than not, I mean, this is the theater that plays all those TCM movies and those Fathom events. I mean, this was a Fathom event, but these other films, and usually, my experience has been if it's a quarter full, you're lucky, So it's fun. And also what was really interesting to me was the demographic. I'm no spring chicken, but there were lots of young people, like in their early 20s, that were there. That in fact, was the majority of them, and there was just so much excitement in the air. They clearly this is a movie that they know, and there was just all this talk, very reverential talk about the film, but just there was a real sense of anticipation, and that just made it all the more fun. I was so happy to see that because I was sadly kind of expecting it to be just kind of dead, just considering what often happens at these types of Fathom event screenings.
Yeah, and I was pleasantly surprised how many children there were. Yeah. And considering it's subtitled, that can be a challenge for kids. But there were quite a few families that went and saw it, and good on them for doing that, because that'll be amazing, a memory that they'll have.
I know. How fun to see that movie on the big screen, because this is the first time I've seen it on the big screen. I've only seen it on, on the smaller screen, on DVD or Blu-ray.
Yeah, me too. I've seen Spirited Away on the big screen, and I've seen
Princess Mononoke on the big screen. Have you?
No, I missed that one. I have seen their more recent ones, like pretty much everything, like Arrietty all the way through the Red Turtle. I think I've seen on the big screen, but it was really, really great, and so it's gonna be fun to talk about it.
One thing, Rachel, if I could, just before we get going, I could mention about the Studio Ghibli Fest. You had mentioned the screening we saw was in Japanese with English subtitles. To GKIDS credit, who are putting this festival together, they play they play the show on 2 nights. The Sunday screening is the English dub version. They play an English dub version, and then the Monday night screening they play it in Japanese with English subtitles. So that's the one that we both saw, was the Japanese with English, which is really the one I wanted to see in the first place. Yeah, I prefer that.
Me too. Me too. I mean, I think if you're going to see it, that's a win is a win, whether it's dub or sub.
Right.
But for me personally, I would always rather see subtitles.
Me too. I'd want to see the sub.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's really, really exciting. The only thing that I wish they were doing differently about the Studio Ghibli Fest is the films are My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Castle in the Sky, Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, Spirited Away, and Howl's Moving Castle. I wish that they took out one of these and put in a Takahata film.
They're all like Miyazaki directed. Yeah.
I feel like you should have taken maybe Howl's Moving Castle out and put, or I don't know, and put in either Grave of the Fireflies or Tale of Princess Kaguya in there because he's so amazing that I think. And I feel like his work is less well known than Miyazaki, less heralded, and so this would have been a really good opportunity to kind of expose people to him a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I'm hoping that they'll do this again. You know, that this will be a big success, and they'll continue it and show some of these other films. That, I agree with you.
Me too. I hope it is too, and it's worth their time and everything to do that. Yeah. So anyway, that'd be my only nitpick but it's tough because they're all so great. So I understand.
Sure.
And I actually, believe it or not, I have not seen Castle in the Sky. That's my one of these that I have not seen.
What a fun way to see it in this film festival and on the big screen,
Yeah. I'm really excited. There's a few others, Studio Ghibli, that I still haven't seen, but I'm slowly checking them off. I watched Porco Rosso this year. I watched for the first time. I watched what's it called? Valley of, I can't think of the name. From Up on Poppy Hill.
Oh, From Up on Poppy Hill, right?
Yeah,
which is a fairly recent one, right? Didn't that come out just 2 or 3 years ago? I think.
Yeah, it's on the more recent side. Yeah, yeah, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I don't think there's even Tales from Earthsea. I think gets way too much hate. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a flawed movie, but I don't think it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, in my opinion, sort of like the weaker Pixar movies. There's not like, it's like my friend was saying the other day, like a Pixar movie is still a Pixar movie.
Right. The artistry, even if you get frustrated with the story or something about that, you still can just be wowed by this incredible artistry.
Exactly.
Because they're so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Tales from Earthsea is the worst of the lot, it's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Even the bad films are like, pretty good. And
I love Ponyo. I feel like Ponyo also gets unfairly criticized.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great. So.
Yeah, I don't. Again, whatever issues I have with it, I just it's great to watch. I mean, it's beautiful.
And it's so adorable.
Art.
It's the cutest thing, maybe except for Totoro.
Oh, Totoro, hard to do. Oh my gosh.
Which, honestly, that's like the big word that I would use to describe Totoro. I would just say it is adorable. It is so cute, and it just makes you feel good.
It does. It's the happiest movie. It's just to me. It's just like it captures the innocence of childhood and of a happy childhood in just one film. It just it's so innocent and wonderful, and even with some of the drama that's put into the story, still though it's such a calm and a peaceful movie. It makes you feel so good. As we were talking about, when it finished, I wanted just them to play it again. I was like, can I please watch this again? This is such a happy movie.
I was thinking about it. I need to have Totoro be my sick day movie.
I know,
I'm not feeling that good.
I was thinking the same thing. It's got to go in the rotation.
So I always watch Happy Feet when I'm sick, just because I find it very cheerful.
Yes.
But I need to put in the.
Yeah. No, it's a very good. I like that. I should do that too.
What's interesting is that in 1988, when it was released as part of a dual feature.
Yeah.
Because it's not that long of a movie. I forget how many minutes it is, but it's pretty short.
Yeah, I do. Is it 65 minutes or
something like
70
that?
minutes?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Let's see here. I've got it here. Says 86 minutes on the Wikipedia, but there's no way.
There's no way.
That's wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That's including shorts or something like that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But it was released as a dual feature with Grave of the Fireflies, which is just so crazy. Like, can you think of two more different movies?
No, I can't. In fact, I kind of am glad I didn't see that as a double feature. I mean, it'd be interesting, but as we were, tweeting yesterday, like, I hope they played Grave of the Fireflies first, because you imagine, you see this incredibly joyful movie and then see this thing that's so heavy, I mean, it's beautiful, but it's so heavy.
Yeah, like so Grave of the Fireflies is like Schindler's List heavy. Like it might even be more heavy than Schindler's List.
It's so sad. Yeah,
it's brutal, and it's so good, but it's kind of a one-time watch. And so you're absolutely right. They needed to put Totoro at the end to like
I meant to look that up. I didn't, just to see.
Repair your heart slowly,
if there's some documentation, about how that double feature worked. Yeah. That was news to me. That was fun. That was one of the fun things about the screening, I thought, was that those trivia questions that they put on the loop before the movie started. I thought, some of the questions were pretty, what's the name of the little sister? Like, duh, we've seen it, but that was some of those were fun. I thought that was a nice way to do it. Kudos again to GKIDS and Fathom Events for that.
Well, and it's really interesting to watch as a Miyazaki fan to notice, because this is one of his first movies. I think Nausicaa was first, but this was one of his first, and you really see sort of his sort of tropes, I guess if you want to call them, coming into play here. You have a young girl. All his movies pretty much, except for maybe The Wind Rises, are about young girls kind of figuring out life and dealing with like some kind of depression or sadness that they're dealing with in their life, and there's always some sort of mysticism, and usually there's some form of talking cat.
It's true. Isn't it?
Talking animal.
It's one of those themes. That are recurring when you're when you get familiar with the catalog. That's
Here,
true.
We don't actually get talking, but we get kind of close. So it's neat.
It is neat, and the characters all have like that. The protagonist, the young girl, typically has a very similar look. You always know you just see her, and who she is, and I don't mean that as criticism. I think that's almost kind of a comforting thing about the studio's work. Yeah,
and a lot of people compare this, including myself, compare it to Winnie the Pooh, sort of Japan's version of Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
I would. I mean, I definitely wouldn't call myself a cultural expert by any means, but I think there's so many similarities because again. One of the fun things about Totoro is that they don't really tell you if this is in the kids' imaginations or not. But I think looking at it as an adult, you think most likely these characters are living in these kids' imaginations, and they don't have the associated plush toys in their environment. The sisters don't, but still, since all the girls only can see them. And then just the way they interact with them too, I think that's a very good comparison.
Kind of similar to the 100-Acre Woods.
Very, exactly. It's all set in nature. Yeah. And
it has emotional truth like Winnie the Pooh does. It's easy to see Winnie the Pooh as sort of, it's kid stuff. But if you really watch it, if you really think about it, there's a lot of really deep, beautiful sort of stuff that sort of acknowledges the melancholy of childhood. And I love when art and film and books and whatever can tap into that sort of the thoughtful nature of childhood, that it's not just sort of, I don't know, sort of poop jokes and stuff like that.
No, exactly. Exactly. No, because there's no bathroom humor in this movie.
Not at all.
And isn't that a treat? Number one.
Yeah.
But right, it like Winnie the Pooh, because that's one of the things that I really like about a really good interpretation of Winnie the Pooh. I don't think all the Winnie the Pooh things that
that's
Disney
true.
has created are all created equally.
It is a pretty big franchise.
With a lot of different, teams and deliverables and things, that are created. But at its core, like the really
just
good
the many
ones,
adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
The many adventures of the Winnie the Pooh. I also quite like that 2011.
Yeah, I do too.
Winnie the Pooh. I think that the Walt Disney Animation Studios, really captured it again for that.
I agree.
For that film too. With the innocence, with the life lessons, but again, nothing's heavy-handed, and again, just bringing out the wonders and the beauties of the imagination of childhood.
Yeah, it's like there are two sort of experiences from my life I think of. One time, I would just be sort of lost in thought a lot of times. And I loved Anna Green Gables partly because of this, because that's the way she is, and she has her window friend and just things like that. And one time my mom's coming up to me, she's wanting me to get ready. And I'm like holding my shoe up, to like think, and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I said, go away, I'm thinking. And that I think that this captures that spirit of
perfect. Yeah.
And then also what I really could relate to is when I was 10, my mom had my sister, so she was pregnant when I was 9, and she had to go on full bed rest, and I've always been a journal keeper since I was that little, amazingly enough, and you read over my journal and I talk about how worried I am and when is this going to be over?
Yeah.
When is it going to be done? And I bet my parents had no idea that I was feeling that way and that I was that worried.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just think this film sort of captures that when you have their mother being sick and you just see the worry in May and Satsuka that they just she wants to give this corn, she wants to do something to try to help her mother, and there's that worry and that concern, and it just feels so emotionally true.
Yes. I really appreciate you bringing up that example, because that probably was I bet that resonated a lot with you, that segment. I love that about this movie. One theme I really hate in film is a child in peril. It just upsets me. It's like, oh my gosh, don't hang this child off a bridge, or don't make him cross the railroad trestle when there's a train coming and all that horrible stuff. But I thought the way that this is handled in this film is so expert, because I think the child, I think the children can see this and feel the fear, but I think as an adult, you see this, it's like, oh my goodness, this child is missing, who's gone to try to do something nice for her mother because she's so worried about her sick mother. But the thing I love, one of the things I loved about it, and I thought about it again last night, is so little May takes this corn who she thinks is going to heal her mother, because it's this their nanny, their nice, their sweet old neighbor, right, tells her that this all of her vegetables have these healing powers, right? So cute little May runs off as she's upset, and she runs off to save her mother, and we really don't see May then for a good 10 minutes or something. We see May run off, and then it's not like we see her suffering along the road or all of the stuff. We see the adults, and we see her big sister all freaking out, but trying to help her and trying to find her. And I'm grateful for, I think that's just great storytelling, number one. I guess it's from a selfish point, we're not seeing this poor girl suffering along the way, although we know she is. But they come and save her, and and it ends happily. And I'm just grateful the way they handle it.
As a point of contrast, we were just talking about on Twitter with some of my friends that I really don't like the movie The Rescuers. I really don't like it. And talk about the contrast in that movie where you see Penny and just so much like being just treated so horribly and so
hard. Yeah.
And some people like that movie. That's cool, but I really hate it. And as much as I can I guess, hate a Disney movie, which is not
No,
that
that's
much.
fair.
But
No, I hear you.
anyway.
I love The Rescuers, but that's another topic for another day.
But yeah, that's just the contrast, you
Yeah,
really,
it is.
you really
Totally
see.
different
And
contrast.
I think because also, like, we've seen May enough that we know she's okay.
Yes.
Like, we sort of trust her as a character.
Right, we do. That she's resourceful. I mean, she acted out of. I mean, she was acting out of love for her mother, but she acted on emotion. She had a fight with her sister.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Just like, I feel like May's going to be okay. I never really thought, like when they were looking for her at the bottom of the river, or in that water. Just like, she's not there. That wasn't her shoe. I mean, they even knew that the first time I watched. It's like, that's not her.
Yeah, like you feel relief, but you also are, I don't know, you're not as worried as you might otherwise be.
Yeah.
And it's just not as emotionally manipulative. Like it's emotional, but it's not manipulative.
Yeah.
In a frustrating kind of a way. And I just love these two girls. I think they are so great. They're so well developed.
I love these sisters.
Like they feel real, and they feel like it could be so coined, but I don't think it is at all.
No, it's delightful. Is what I think. Their opening scene when they're riding in with their dad. I mean, they're just laughing and having fun, and you don't know what's going on emotionally with them initially because it hasn't been introduced. That their mother's ill and that they're moving and hopefully they'll be reunited soon. But we don't know that yet, and we just see how they play and just they're silly, but it's happy silly. It's not like these are the most obnoxious kids. I like want them to go away. I've never felt that watching it. I just think, oh, these girls are cute. And again, it's, as you say, it's authentic. It's coming from a real place.
Yeah, I agree. And what do you think about the Totoro? Like, do you think that the Totoro is aware and sort of watching over the girls, or do you think that it's sort of more random?
Well, I think that the Totoro is aware. But one of the things that I love about this film, too, I mean, I love everything. I love everything about this film. I'll try to stop using that phrase. One of the things I love is like all of the things I love about this film.
Yeah.
The dad talks about how May is explaining to her dad what she saw, and that she's trying to find him again. That after May's first encounter, and the dad's he's not having any problems with it. He's just like, he's probably, I'm sorry, I meant to write down the phrase, but he's like the, watcher of the forest or something. He's like the, and the dad like buys into the mythology of it. He's not doubting the kids at all. He's like, no, you didn't see anything. That's just false. And so he doesn't put any doubt in the kids' minds that he's not telling them that it didn't happen. But I think the way it works, I feel like he's watching over him, because even though he's playful, kind of in that Winnie the Pooh way, that you were talking about, I still feel like he's knowledgeable and he knows what to do. He knows when to call the cat bus and all that stuff. What's your take?
Yeah, on the dad, I think so. I think that he's just very loving and very kind and just wants his girls to be happy. He's not, if this is making them happy, and I think there's a little bit of the magical in him. I think so.
I think so too.
And
yeah.
I don't know. It just works. Like, I mean, I love E.T., but one of the minor nitpicks that I have with that movie is I just thought his mom is.
Yeah.
Like,
the mom.
Get it together.
Yeah. It's like
watch your kids. Like,
yeah.
How can you not know all this is happening in your house? Like, he's just way more sort of like aware and like just wonderful. And just the scene where they're like bathing is very joyous, and just all that things. It seems like I'm somebody who really sort of has sort of joy in the journey with things.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just everything in this movie is so calibered. It's so even, it's just perfectly pitched and paced, and you don't get any moments that, to me at least, feel shrill or feel off, or and I really like the way that they sort of move you in slowly into the fantasy. You start out with just these little dust bunnies
The dust
and the haunted
bunnies,
house,
which are so cool.
they're so cute.
I love the dust bunnies, and I love how the dad describes them.
Yeah.
He's not doubting him, and he's not saying, "Well, go clean them up," or like some ornery adult.
Yeah.
He's just believing that sure this could be, and isn't it neat? We're in a haunted house, yay!
I've always wanted to live in a haunted house.
Right. I just love that.
And then you have like just the forest, and then you meet the little Totoros, which are so cute. I love them so much.
Yeah, I do too.
I like want one of my own. And then of course you keep crawling and crawling and crawling into the forest, and then she just plop lands on the big Totoro, and it's just so great.
It's such a perfect way to introduce his character.
Yeah.
How she plops on him, and again, he's sleeping, and you think, and you just don't know what he's going to do, but their little communication is so cute. And again, that's where I think he's very Winnie the Pooh-esque, where he's just kind of wants his own Japanese pot of honey, right?
Yeah, like he's sort of ferocious at times, a little bit, like a little bit like fierce, but then just that big smile, like how
smile.
Can you? Oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's the greatest character design. In fact, I was wondering about the character design of Totoro, and was thinking, is it based on any kind of Japanese mythology, or are you aware of any of that?
Just see if there's anything here on the Wikipedia page here.
I was looking there too.
There's some really good stuff here, though. Just is that it's a world that is fully spiritually alive, and it's set in a period that is both modern and nostalgic. Then the film creates a fantastic yet strangely believable universe of supernatural creatures coexisting with modernity. And I think that's why that mixture of nostalgia and modern really is why like kids today will be loving it. And I was just watching today this is not a kids movie, but I was watching a different movie from the 70s today, and it is harder to sort of get into sometimes, it's just hard to, but not with this, like, even though it's the 80s, but there's no sort of transition. It feels just so easy to sort of accept it.
Yeah.
Even more so than like some of the, like even say Nausicaa, I think it takes you a little bit more to get kind of immersed in that world, I think a little bit. And sort of, it feels like something that was made in like 1980. Right. 84, I think. So let's see.
Point.
See, Miyazaki says Miyazaki has said that Totoro is not a spirit, he's only an animal. I believe he lives on acorns. He's supposedly the forest keeper, but that's only a half-baked idea, a rough approximation. So that's what he says. I don't know, right?
No,
that's what the artist
fair.
says.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And, he has some magic.
Yeah, and that he is the forest keeper, and
he makes all those trees come to life.
I love the scene. Well, hello, there I am again. The scene where, so the little girls have planted the garden, right? Or May plants the garden, and then I love how she's wanting everything to grow, right? And then they both have it's never explained whether it's a dream or not. I think it's a dream because what happens in the morning. But they both go out at night, and Totoro comes, and then the plants start growing uncontrollably, almost like kind of a Jack and the Beanstalk sort of thing. And another of those giant trees appears, and of course that imagination or that animation is so marvelous in that sequence. But just the wonder of that whole imagery, and then of course in the morning, the plants have grown a little. They've popped up above the ground. The tree's not there, but what a wonderful
Yeah.
experience that is.
Yeah.
What wonderful imagery that
Yeah,
is.
it's so good. And what do you think of the cat bus? You like the cat bus?
Oh, I love the cat bus. I'm not a big cat fan. I have to say, in fact, I'm allergic to cats, so I never really like. I mean, this is just so nitpicky. I never really like cat eyes, just generally.
Oh yeah.
But I have to tell you,
I'm also allergic to cats,
the cat
actually.
bus is so imaginative,
Yeah.
and I want to ride in it. I love how it comes to rescue, and I love all of its legs, and I
Yeah.
love the furry benches that you sit on, and I love how the door opens in that kind of magical. It just creates an opening rather than something on a hinge, and I
When
I
when
love
it
it.
brings up May on the thing, it's just like,
Oh, it's
hey.
so great. I know. It's just and the rats that are the reflecting lights, or creating the lights, with their eyes. I mean, everything
Yeah.
about that design is so imaginative
Yeah,
and
it's
so fun. Seriously, I
it
just say I want to ride in the cat bus.
I know.
Uh,
Well, did you hear that they're opening up a Ghibli
yes,
amusement park?
I was thinking about that as I was watching the film last night. Because again, who doesn't want to go there? I think
Oh my gosh.
as we were saying, as you were just, so said so well about that environment, that's just set up immediately. The beauty of the nature. That house is so magical. I mean, who doesn't want to go walk through that, or live in that house, and the forest, and it's so wonderful. Because it doesn't feel like it's like this house set back in time, although I mean, it kind of is, like, but it just looks magical and wonderful. Yes, yes, please. I want to go
Mhm.
to that theme park.
Yeah, me too. I think a big key to making this work is also the sound design, which Studio Ghibli is always amazing
I
at.
know.
It's just like feels so lush, and it feels
Hmm.
so like when they're stepping on grass, it feels
Hmm.
like grass, and
Yeah,
just
agreed.
it helps it not feel dated because it
Yeah.
just still feels so real and so great. And then the music, Joe Hisashi,
Oh my gosh,
I think
that
it's one of
music, Rachel.
the great travesties of the Oscars, if you care about, is the fact that he's never been nominated, because
Yeah.
he is amazing. I mean, his scores are amazing, first of all, but the
Mm-hmm.
way they work with the story is so good.
The music is so good in that, and what a pleasure it was to listen to that
Oh,
soundtrack in the theater.
yes.
Because again, I've enjoyed it every time I've watched it on a smaller screen, but it was just extra wonderful to
Well,
to
and
be able to hear it, to really hear it.
yeah, and it doesn't tell you how to feel. It just is the perfect
Hmm.
sort of accompaniment to drawing you in, and like, I love John Williams, obviously amazing, but I felt like his score in Lincoln was really like, tell you how to feel, tell me how to feel, tell me how to feel. And there's just certain scores like that where it's just like it feels a little overbearing,
Hmm.
and I really I've never felt that way in any of his scores. It always just immerses you into the story,
Yeah,
makes you feel part of the
it
story.
does. Really
And
subtle.
yeah, it's really,
Hmm.
really, really good stuff
Yeah,
in
agreed.
from him. So
I I loved it. And it's fun because there's some synthesizer, used in quite a bit of it, which is fun because it kind of gives it an '80s vibe, but
yeah.
it doesn't just hit you over the head with a like I think it's
Well, it's that
clearly
mixture of the
made part of the
nostalgia
time.
and the modern,
Right,
like he's
exactly,
talking about.
and it works so well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are, because there's people who dislike every movie known to man, but man, I can't imagine that many people disliking this movie. It's just so charming and
Yeah.
so lovely.
You,
And yeah.
that first scene too, when Totoro flies on that spinning top thing.
Oh yeah, that's really good too.
That is the most adorable scene, and it's it's framed so well because one of those shots, it's showing the whole um, field or forest or whatever, and then Totoro and everybody is gripping onto him. You know, the two girls are gripping onto him as well as the two. I think the other two Totoros are sitting on him as well. He just, how he flies across the whole screen, and he's just smiling, and that beautiful soundtrack is playing, and just thinking, this is just another one of those great magical flying moments in animated movies that I love. And this is one of the best. It's one of the best segments for that too. Brilliant.
It made my top 20. I did a countdown. This was in 2015. A top 50 animated films of all time that I've seen.
Yeah.
And it made my top 15.
Oh, absolutely. Totoro. I think revisiting it again last night, it's solidified too. It's for me, it's my favorite Studio Ghibli film, and it would most likely be in my top 20. In fact, I think I could safely say I would put it in my top 20.
Back then, I had Spirited Away at 3, and then I had Princess Mononoke at I think 10 or 11, and then Totoro at 12. But I don't know. I think I might switch at least to put this ahead of Mononoke. As much as I love that film,
I love those films too.
It's tough because they're all so good.
They're so good, and I'm so excited to see them again. And on the big screen, and in this context, it'll be fun to compare them. I rank Totoro higher than those other ones, most because, and not to diminish that those other ones aren't just absolutely brilliant, because they are. They're fantastic films. There's something about that childhood innocence that's brought up again, just as in Totoro, that I think is so unique and so hard to do, yet it's done with such flair and wonder and beauty that just puts it on the top of the list of the Studio Ghibli films for me.
Yeah, I can totally see it, and I don't know. I have to give it some thought now that I've seen it on the big screen. There's something to that.
There's something to it, and it's it's short. Where these other ones, they're longer, and you get more investment in it. They're so dramatic and they're so cool, but still, this simple, beautiful little story about these sisters, it just really steals my heart, and also, again, I love those other films, but as you mentioned at the beginning of this, Totoro makes you feel so happy, and that's just worth a lot, because so many films don't make you feel happy. I mean, they're wonderful and they're artistic and you have a great experience, but there's something really special about Totoro.
You could watch, whenever you're going through a trial, like they're going through a trial with their mom, and I like the fact that the focus isn't really on the illness. It's not.
I know they don't even mention what she's got. Other than that cold, that kind of is a setback. But
and it's because it's all about. It's sort of like me and my journal. Like the worry, the focus is on the girls and their worrying, not on the mother and sort of melodrama involving with that.
Right.
And I think it captures that so well. And so I agree. I have to admit, I left. Sounds weird, but I left a little bit sad, just because this year I just feel there have been a few surprises as far as animation goes, but for the most part, it's just like I feel like you watch something like that and you just think, oh man, we've lost so much. Like it just makes. I'm thinking I'm going to go see Despicable Me 3 this week, and we've got the Emoji Movie coming up, and we got Job 2, and just so many that are just, and that I go to thinking, and I don't know, I just think, boy, there's just something we're missing, even from good films, competent films. It's been a long time since Inside Out, that I saw something that I could even put in the same discussion as something like this.
I know, I'm with you. It is sad because, again, as we were talking about, there are no fart jokes in My Neighbor Totoro. No bathroom humor, and none of the stuff that say like a DreamWorks film relies on heavily in its script. And
Song of the Sea, I would put in this camp. It's very similar, I think, in focusing on the worries of children and them overcoming grief and taking them seriously. That's one thing I love, is that I feel like many movies supposedly made for children. First of all, a lot of them aren't really made for children because they have all this adult content. But second of all, they're kind of patronizing,
right,
to kids and think they're sort of stupid.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you, and it seems to me, sadly, the majority of the films, I think, particularly animated or just of children's films generally, have turned into that rather than focusing on the wonders of childhood and
Yeah.
almost, I don't know what's the best way to say this, Rachel, but because I don't feel like, again, there's nothing heavy in My Neighbor Totoro. It's not.
Yeah, that's the funny thing.
But it they just handle the whole issue, I think, of childhood innocence so well. It's almost like it keeps it intact, rather than trying to destroy these kids or in their growth. It's not like they're trying to force some lesson on them or something.
Yeah,
it's just done in such a beautiful way.
Well,
I wish more films could be like it.
Yeah, and like Setsuko and Mei, they are listened to and taken seriously throughout the film. There's never a point where there's sort of an attitude of like, oh, those kids. No, every single time an adult interacts with them, they are listening and trying to understand them and their perspective and those things like that. And all of that just adds to this feeling of just warmth and love and nurturing and just everything.
Yeah, they're right. The kids are really respected in that. And that's one of the things I think that I admire just about Japanese culture. I feel like they respect each other. In all age groups. I mean, there's kind of that little, and I don't know if it's necessarily a flirtation or just kind of a thing about the age between the neighbor boy and the big sister. They kind of stick their tongues at each other and make faces or grimace. And that just seems to me, again, though, more authentic. Like, that's the age where you're like, ew, girls are icky or whatever, and until they grow out of it. But they become friends, right? I mean,
and it provides that really great moment when she needs to call her dad, like, if they hadn't developed that relationship.
Right. He helps them. Yeah. And I'm with you. It is depressing when you look at, you think of, oh my goodness, we have to see the Emoji Movie after you see something like this film, which is such a masterpiece.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically all my questions. Do you have any other things you want to talk about the film?
Well, just a couple things, Rachel.
Yeah, please.
One other just fun thing about another shout out to GKIDS. Did you stay and see the short films after?
Yeah, they were cute.
They were cute. Again, not necessarily brilliant, but I was just happy that they did that because the film was short, and I don't know if they're going to do that for everyone, but it just it was fun to see some different animation. From some different animation studios. They showed one called The Pocket Man, and it appeared, I wonder how much computer generated work that it had, probably some, but it also appeared to have like some kind of stop motion with paper, at least is what it looked like, or it could have been CG, designed to look that way. But it was cute. Yeah. And then Snack Attack was another one that looked very European to me. I'm not sure exactly where that animation studio was from that did that. It was another CG piece, but a cute story, and a fun way of just showing different animation studios around the world how they're working and what they're doing.
I wish I had known. Maybe they'd said somewhere, but are those like current, like this year?
No, they didn't say, and that was the bummer. It's just I'll need to do my homework and figure out where those are from.
I'm curious to know if they'd be eligible for Academy, nominations or what.
Right. Or this is just something that was developed over the years, and just GKIDS thought it would be fun to tack this on to some of their releases. I noticed that there's also the other thing that was really fun in this too was just, as I mentioned, seeing in the theater and also just hearing the crowd reactions over different things. And I love that because there was just, you hear the oohing, they're on, oh, that's so cute, or, or kind of a gasp, or just different things. Again, the joys of seeing a movie, collectively in a big audience. But this was an audience that really loved and appreciated this film.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that can get annoying, but in this case it wasn't. It was just all part of this collective experience. When you hear like little kids being like, ooh, oh, mom, like kind of a thing. It's just like, yes, this is what it's about. This is what animation's about. This is what movies are about. This is the best of the best.
Yes, it is. Well said. And it really, it inspired me again to see it. And I just, my hope is that, these animations, these major animation studios are going to hopefully aspire to that kind of work still. It would be
really nice if this was kind of a kick in the butt to them. The studio should be fast.
Exactly. It's like you hope that they're going or that they're going to pay attention. And I'm a huge Disney and a huge Pixar fan, and I think that most of the time, I think those studios really try hard. Yeah. Not saying that these other studios don't. I just feel like they are relying on some other stuff that might not be that level of wonder and excellence. You know,
there's nothing like a Disney animated film. I mean, they've had there's ones that I might not be particularly bonded with or particularly like, but I there's very few that I could flat out say are like lazy or junk or whatever.
Yeah. One of the things that when I was watching the film last night, it was that scene again where Totoro is flying around on that spinning, for lack of a better word, I'm calling it a top. I don't know what it is, but it made me think of that really great scene in Big Hero 6 when Hero and Baymax are flying, and there's just something magical about flying. Well, and Peter Pan too. That's such a wondrous childhood dream to be able to fly, and these were all captured wonderfully. I wondered if some of those artists at Disney might have been inspired by some of that. Clearly, the Peter Pan artists weren't, because Miyazaki was probably inspired by Peter Pan. but you wonder if some of the artists working on Big Hero 6 were.
I wouldn't be surprised, especially that film, because there are a lot of I feel like similarities, at least in the design of Baymax and Totoro. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they were inspired by that. Plus San Francisco, there's definitely a Japanese,
that Asian, that Japanese element.
Anime feel.
And then final note, truth be told, I mean, I came home and I looked on Amazon.com for stuffed Totoros just because it was like, I want one. I didn't buy one, but they're so stinking cute.
I have one, but I don't know. It's in my other room, but
I don't have one, and I've wanted one, and I just think after I saw this one again, I've got to find one. I just have to decide. There are actually quite a few choices, which is fun.
Well, if you go to Comic-Con in September, there's a whole booth that's all just
this.
So we can get one there.
Exactly. And then I also saw too. There was this guy I follow on Twitter. There was a Studio Ghibli pop-up store in LA that had this line that went for blocks. People were so into this, but again, just buying all this cute Totoro and other stuff there at this pop-up store. I thought, oh, that's so cool. I want to go there.
That would be fun.
I know. That cute, happy Japanese stuff. Like your awesome shirt, Rachel. Hello. Your Studio Ghibli Abbey Road shirt, which is the best.
It's fun. I enjoy it. In fact, I think we're going to see most of these except for Mononoke. We'll see the rest.
Which is cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, so the next one coming up is Kiki's Delivery Service.
Delivery Service, which again I've never seen on the big screen. I'm excited.
Neither. I've actually done a podcast on it though with my friend Chris.
Oh, cool.
But he was new to Studio Ghibli, so I think this will be a slightly different. He'd never seen really, I think, any anime before, so I think this will be a slightly different kind of perspective and a different thing going on here. So I'm really excited to see it because I love Kiki.
Yeah, fun,
It's
super,
great.
really, really fun. I'm excited too.
All
I'm excited
right.
for all of them.
Well, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it, and
Thank
this was
you, Rachel.
really
Always
fun
a pleasure.
to talk Studio Ghibli, talk Totoro. So where can people reach you? And you said at the beginning, but
Thanks. Yes, I'm at stanfordclark.com. There's a link to my blog there. Or also at animationfascination.net.
Awesome. All right. Well, great. Well, thanks very much. I'll have all the information in the description section, and we'll look forward to next month.
Yeah, thank you again.